Now, I think we can all agree that over the last year and a half, Rhea Ripley has been the most talked about women's wrestler in the world, bar none. Everything including her insane title win at Wrestlemania, her having one of the most over gimmicks in wrestling right now, and her just being an icon on and off the ring. It's safe to say a lot of people have very strong opinions about Rhea Ripley in some way. And with WrestleMania being just 3 weeks away, Rhea Ripley has the chance to retain her title that she won there a year ago against Becky Lynch, who obviously won the Elimination Chamber to set up this match. But personally, I think Rhea Ripley should still retain the title, and this is why. Now, first of all, I think the match between these two is going to be really good. Becky Lynch has been insane the last year. She really put over that NXT Championship, and she sort of deserves this opportunity and a world title run if you think about it. She's not really had one in many years, and someone with the class and durability of her, I think it's a valid opponent to have for Rhea Ripley. And now Rhea Ripley has not had probably the best title reign, people would argue. She has mostly fought loads of women mid-carders that haven't really looked like they are going to win the title or look like they should be in the title picture just yet. And often some of the times the matches are a bit clunky and they don't really flow too well. Now, a lot of the time I don't think this is really Rhea Ripley's fault. I think they don't book her brilliantly, the rivalries aren't really well made, and a lot of the time so many people like Rhea Ripley and she's supposed to be the heel, it doesn't necessarily work in execution. I also have a little bit of sympathy for her because it does seem like they struggle to book some of the women title belts. I feel like they struggle to build up the women to a good level to be a world champion, and often a lot of the time you know the outcome. We saw the same with Bianca Belair, which a lot of people were very upset about her title reign, and often all of the matches were pretty decent or okay, but the actual rivalry going into it was poor and not really well built, a bit like an AEW rivalry in a sense. I also do like AEW, that was just a bit of a joke. And after her pretty decent match I fought against Nia Jax, where obviously she was the overwhelming face going into her home crowd in Australia, which is a really cool moment for Rhea Ripley. That was almost like her payoff for having the belt this amount of time. So her losing it at WrestleMania probably wouldn't be the worst. And Becky Lynch is definitely a perfect person to actually win the title right now, because I do believe she deserves a title reign soon. But I think there's a lot of things around this rivalry, around what's going on, which make more sense to let Rhea retain at WrestleMania. The first one for me is actually something a bit away from the rivalry, and it's the fact for a potential shock. Now, a lot of the belts got changed last year at WrestleMania, and a lot of the people have had long title reigns since. I mean, pretty much every single belt has had someone that's had it for a while now, and I feel like a lot of them are going to be changed at WrestleMania. Now, some of them need to be retained. You can't necessarily have them all changing, and I think out of all of them, Rhea Ripley and Becky Lynch make sort of the most sense, because I think you can build this rivalry into something better down the line. If you look at all the other matches on the card, the Io Sky versus Bayley is obviously definitely going to be changed. Maybe Cody and Roman, Drew and Seth, and even Gunther and Sammy probably has a higher chance than this match anyway. And I don't really like everyone having the belt for a while and then just losing it at the same show every year, because I think that becomes a lot predictable. And I think that Rhea Ripley has had the best character in the women's division in wrestling throughout the last year and a half, and I think that's a bit unfair just to let her lose the belt, because when a woman loses the world championship belt, they're not seen in the main title picture for a very long time after that. I also think there's other stories you can tell. Rhea Ripley can definitely turn face still and sort of lead the Judgment Day. She seems to be, and is kind of doing her own thing after Australia, and I think you could have a story where she turns face down the line and someone like Liv Morgan gets involved. And now this is the thing that I think is a big part of this. Liv Morgan should be in this title picture, in this story somewhere. She's very much over, and I don't think they ever really capitulated on the amount of love that she had before. And I think you could paint her as a bit of a heel right now, because she does some weird things. I guess she's a heel, bit in between, I guess. And she could interrupt this match or interrupt another match. I wouldn't really want the WrestleMania match it being interrupted. And beef Becky Lynch as well. Now, I know this is probably all going to get sorted on a Raw or something, but I do think it would make more sense to me for them three to all come together later down the line and Rhea Ripley to be the face in the situation. Now, you could also flip this and just have down the line they have a rematch and Becky is the heel and wins the belt, doing some sort of switcheroo in some sort of match that they plan down the line, and having Rhea look or get screwed over by certain situations. And I do like Becky, and I do think Becky deserves the title, but realistically you can give Becky the title at any point. You can give it to her at SummerSlam, you can give it to her down the line a bit more. As as well as I think someone like Liv Morgan probably deserves it more right now, and I think Rhea Ripley should have a bit of a longer reign than just a year, because I think that's quite generic overall. And while you can say her storylines haven't been the best, her matches haven't been the best, I still think she is the most intriguing character in the women's division in the whole of wrestling still. Her character is basically an extension of herself, and she has really come into her own and become basically a global phenomenon since she started this whole new character with the Judgment Day a year and a half ago. And I think she's actually bigger than the Judgment Day, and I think her level has gone beyond that, but I wouldn't want to see her lose the belt suddenly and kind of diminish all of the momentum that she's built, because I think from the Elimination Chamber, a lot of people see her as a face now and want to see her achieve big things. And even though everyone loves Becky, I still think you're going to have an overwhelming or quite positive support for Rhea in that match. To me, someone that has been built up to an astronomical level and is literally a global star, really face of the brand. She's on WWE 2K. I don't think she should just be losing the belt to Becky, who she didn't even really care about until last month. I don't think Becky's time has passed. I don't think she's stale like some people would say. I still think she's got a really good gimmick that does work. I just think it makes too much sense to keep it on Rhea right now than actually changing it, but obviously we like to see what they're going to do. And I honestly see down the line you could do something with Becky and Bayley, because that's 4 horsemen, and you can maybe do something around that picture, turning Becky heel again. And I think I prefer a Liv Rhea Ripley match down the line more than a Becky and Rhea match right now for Becky winning the title. But the last thing that I think could potentially have this work is if Dom does screw over Rhea Ripley or mistakenly accidentally loses her the belt, turning Rhea face, and Rhea goes on a sort of rampage or sort of journey to get the belt back, maybe beyond next year's WrestleMania or somewhere around then. But I don't want to see Rhea too far out the picture, and I don't think that makes much sense to have your most popular star out of the picture right now. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and let me know, do you think Rhea should retain, or do you think she should actually lose the belt, and give your reasons down below. Now, this is my new channel. Appreciate any feedback that I can get, because obviously it's different to what I've done before. And yeah, just let me know, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.